Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Loaded Potato Soup. One thing you gotta have for the winter months is a solid potato soup recipe, and this one right here is my go-to. We're cooking diced russet potatoes with a bunch of aromatics. We're gonna blend up half of it with some cream so you get this fantastic balance of creamy and chunky, and then we're finishing it off like a loaded baked potato with sour cream, cheese, and of course, bacon. I'm gonna start by peeling and dicing about 2.5 pounds of russet potatoes. So I wanna do a fairly small dice on these because the size that they are now is the size that they're gonna be when this video is all the way over, when this recipe is complete. So, roughly, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick. That's totally up to you what size you want it. Because again, we're gonna blend like half of this. The other half, you're still gonna have the same size chunks that you start with. Diced potatoes back in the water now so they don't oxidize. We're gonna move on to dicing up our Mirepoix. So for this size batch, I'm gonna shoot for about 1.5 cups of onion and then 3/4 cup each of our carrots and celery. Now on to some of the aromatics. We want 1 tablespoon of garlic broken down super fine on the microplane. Next we got some fresh thyme. We're gonna strip off about 1 tablespoon of these leaves. Last bit of knife work here before we actually get to cooking. We got 1 pound of thick cut bacon that we're gonna dice. Just want little bits here and there in the end, so we're gonna cut this down the middle and then dice it fairly small. Today we're cooking on the Yoder Smokers YS480s pellet grill. It's running at 450 degrees with hickory pellets. So we're throwing a Lodge cast iron Dutch oven right above the flame. We're going direct. And we're gonna start by rendering out all this bacon. Bacon is fully rendered out and starting to get crispy now, so we're gonna remove this now from the Dutch oven. I'm gonna strain off the bacon fat. Throw that on some paper towels, soak up that extra grease. And then we're gonna throw about 2-3 tablespoons of that bacon fat back in there for us to cook our veggies. Mirepoix into the bacon fat now. We're gonna season that up with 1/4 cup of our Cattleman's Grill Trail Dust. This is an all-purpose seasoning. It's a seasoning that started kind of as a brisket rub, and then we just kept adding good stuff to it. Like mustard seeds, all kinds of goodness. And we're just gonna cook this down until it's softened. Mirepoix is softened up now. We're gonna add our garlic in here and just cook that down for about 1 minute. And we'll move on, get our herbs, our potatoes, and our stock in here. Now we're gonna throw in our fresh thyme leaves. Strained off the water from those potatoes. And you just wanna cover those with chicken stock now, about 1 quart. And I warmed this chicken stock up so that we wouldn't slow down the cooking process and get these potatoes tender just as fast as possible. Throw a lid on to help that go a little bit faster. So just about 15 to 20 minutes and our potatoes are nice and tender. We just check them for tenderness by putting it up against the side and seeing if it smashes, totally smashes. So we are done cooking those potatoes. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna ladle out about half of this mixture into the blender so we can blend it and make it super creamy puree. I'm gonna leave the other half right here in the Dutch oven so we've got some textural difference going on. And then to make that extra creamy, we're gonna pour in 2 cups of half and half. All right, super creamy, back into the Dutch oven. And we just need to warm this up a little bit since that half and half's going in there cold. So we're gonna return this to the grill probably just for another 5 minutes or so until it comes up to a simmer. But for the most part, we're just about there. All right, it's warmed up now. We're gonna dump most of that bacon back, well, half, maybe a little bit more than half back in. And do this last so it keeps its crunch for just a little bit, at least for this service here. The rest we'll use as a garnish. And then we're ready to plate this up. You see how super creamy it is, but at the same time, you've got that texture, you've got the chunks of the potato still in there. A little bit of crunch from that bacon. Then we're just gonna finish it off like it's a baked potato. Throw some sour cream on there. Some cheese on the surface so it melts. Pinch of bacon and some chives. All right, time for the taste test. Holy creamy goodness, Batman. That is so good. And with that bacon thrown at the last minute, it's still got some crunch to it. The chunks of potato, they're super tender, but at least it gives you some more texture. It's not just pure creaminess, and it's not runny. It's not a runny soup, it's a creamy soup with texture. I love this. Well, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.